How you doing? Welcome back to the Dynasty Grind. My name is Peter Howard at PA Howdy. Freshly 38 years old, just for everyone who thinks I'm like 12. Whatever. I'm one of those tired old dads as far as live stream fantasy football goes. I got told that's all fantasy football live streams are. That's me. I'm a tired old dad. Proud of it, damn it. Welcome back. So I was thinking about this the other day while I was reading everything you got for the amount of money you can spend in fantasy football today. And I was like, if you were just having fun with us every Wednesday at 9:30 on the Dynasty Grind, we ended up touting Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuels, every Clemson big team, Clemson wide receiver, or whatever it is that Russ likes. We liked all the top 5 running backs last year, apart from including the 2 that got hurt before. And we're like free and here every Wednesday. But, you know, you can also spend like $200, whatever. Well, welcome in. Like, seriously, like every one of us would have told you to draft Jamar Chase over Kyle Pitts, and Kyle Pitts was good, but, you know, you could wait the year and get him for the same price, if not less, which is what you can do right now. Every one of us knew Travis Kelce was still a top 5 tight end, and we spoke about it actively. Like, everyone gets stuff wrong. I got Juju wrong. I got Clyde Edwards-Helaire wrong, but, like, as far as the strong takes we took, like, I'm free. And just sitting here, like, hey, I don't want to hire it. No. Don't give them money. Just let them keep doing the right thing. It's pretty cool.
But we got all these,
so I was getting bitter and passive aggressive about it. I thought that would be the way I started the show.
We got all these people in the chat though they're the real brain trust because they're here for nothing, hanging out in the chat, and they've already put us. We're 2 hours behind, Peter.
Like, people legitimately talked other people into Robert Woods last year, where we were like, why? And now they are like full-timers. Like, the people touting Robert Woods last year, the full-time analysts now. Like, enjoy that subscription, buddy. We're free every week on the DLF live stream. All right. Speaking of which, how you doing, Russ? You look disgusted.
No, I just because you put that comment down there, and there's just a lot of words in capitals, so I just like got a little like taken aback by it, and I started reading and. I have to concentrate on reading because reading is hard. So that's what that face was.
Yeah, Silence the Lamb, welcome back, buddy. You were in here at 8:54, so you were here a lot earlier than me. I appreciate that.
Oh, if you go back up, he was here at 7:25.
Oh, Jesus. Am I already at the bottom? I'm already at the bottom. Okay. He was here at 7:25. 12-team Superflex, Breece Hall, Bateman, Olave. 223 first. Or CMC, Godwin, and Justin Jefferson. I think it's just Justin Jefferson, right? Yeah, it's Justin Jefferson. Yeah.
I hate how many things have been happening lately that have made me choose the sides of trades with Christian McCaffrey on them. It's like people are messing with me, and I don't like it.
You're actually
Someone was trying to own me for my ranks the other day, and I was like, the only one I feel wrong on right now is Christian McCaffrey, and that's because I thought you all would hate him more by now. Like, he's not. I still look like I'm in line with everyone else in the top 5, and I'm like, no, you're all meant to prove that I'm wrong.
But the cool thing about Christian McCaffrey, at least this year, is he's going to catch a ton of passes.
This year,
like, yeah.
You know, he might do that this year.
Yeah. Well, but no, I mean like this year. The past doesn't matter, Peter. We've seen it happen. It doesn't matter. We're going forward.
No, the thing is, I get it in Dynasty, he's a big injury risk, like Saquon Barkley. But at this time of year, that's who I want to like more than everyone else. I want to trade Swift for CMC+. But unfortunately, everyone else is like, nah, I remember how good CMC is, I'll keep it. But no, I've had a few trades like that dropped in my DMs, and I was actually going to ask you about a few because I got squeamish on them in terms of risk management, and I find that an interesting question. Not to ignore the chat, but someone was asking me, they've got a huge trade, and I was like, I would take the Josh Allen side. And they were pretty convincing that I was wrong, so I thought I'd ask you guys about it. I stuck to my guns. I was like, no, I said the other thing, so I got to say that thing. But he had a good point. What was it? It was Deshaun Watson, Deebo Samuels, George Kittle, so basically the San Francisco 49ers minus Brandon Ayuk. A second round pick in 2023 and a 24 first. So it's a fairly big package for Josh Allen, Michael Gallup, and some late picks.
What was the other
So
one
you've
with
got
Debo? Watson, Debo, who?
You've got Watson, Debo, and Kittle. And Kittle's really interesting, you know?
Yeah.
And then a second and a first over the next 2 years, basically. A second in 23 and a first in 24. So that's one side. And on the other side, you've got Josh Allen, the QB1 over the last 2 years, who's going to play for the next 10 years, probably as a QB1. And Michael Gallup, who I don't hate, and then like a third and a fourth. It doesn't matter. So basically, it's way too much, but you get Josh Allen. And I was like, I'd probably take Josh Allen. I don't
want the side with Watson on it, so.
Yeah. I could see how you could weight it that way. But value-wise, is it on the other side? Because he's building in his own words. And I was like, that might be the long-term play, but I'd just take Josh Allen, I think.
I'll just take Josh Allen.
Yeah, I think so. As much as I like to have Debo and Kittle, how are you going to replace them? Especially if, again, I don't want to speculate on Watson, but it seems to be a lot of smoke. If he's not an
Something's
NFL
gonna
quarterback,
happen.
Yeah.
Well, his point was, do you think he never plays again? I was like, I don't know about that. He might even play this year, but then we've got this conversation again the next year.
Right.
And eventually some suspensions are going to come along, and, you know, it's not going to be you'd hope it's not a 6 game, but I'm not even playing that game. It's just, you get Josh Allen, don't have to worry about any of that, and he's a QB1 over the last 2 years, and he's easily going to play longer, if not as long as far as we know, Watson.
Right.
Not that I don't want to dismiss a Kittle and a Samuel, but again, it was risk management, and I side with safety, which is not normally where I'd go because nothing's safe. So I thought I'd run it by you guys. 12-team Superflex, same guys, Silence of the Lamb, obviously, same league. 6-23 firsts, that side probably. Just heads up. Don't care where they're gonna go if you've got 6
too
of
early,
them.
too mid, and too late, but no way
24
101.
first. And a first in 2024 for good measure for JT, Mahomes, and Brandon Cooks in Superflex.
So 7 firsts.
7 firsts for Mahomes and JT, basic, and Cooks. Why not Cooks? I guess it's an all-in points versus value trade, but that's heavy.
See,
That
I
like
would
a lot.
honestly.
But
I'm just going to take the picks. I really think I'm going to take the picks there, and that's normally not my answer.
It's just rough because honestly, I kind of want to side with the players, but
yeah, I want to, but I'm
you
not
can
gonna.
probably do enough good for your team selling those picks separately. Like, because if I do this, I'm at least flipping JT away for 2 very good players. And you could even do that with Mahomes if you wanted to. But again, then why just get different players with the firsts? Like, this is fun. Don't get me wrong. Like, if I saw this go through, like an email, like trade completed in your league, I would literally start clapping because I don't know what else to do. That's awesome. But I couldn't do it. That's a lot of firsts, and you're not getting enough unless you're just one of those teams, like you're a freaking J-Mike who wins a championship but still has.
See, that's what I was thinking. It's like this is like a pure rebuild from scratch. Like
if you're pure rebuilding, you do not go out and buy JT at least.
Right.
Well, that's what I mean. The other side is if you flip JT and Mahomes, you're basically your roster.
Oh yes,
you can
you're
rebuild from 2023 players alone, and I assume that's not the only players you have on your team, so I don't hate it at all.
So I think that what it boils down to, and what you're both saying is, if the team trading the firsts already has a stacked team, then that's not a bad trade to go get a top 5 quarterback difference maker and the top running back who you can either do the Russ and trade him or hang on and have a top 5 running back, for this year and probably next year. That's great. If your team is not one of the bulls of the woods, trading those picks seems counterproductive.
One of the bulls of the woods?
I'm from Maine. We have moose up here, the bull moose.
Oh,
Bull
okay.
of the woods means that you are in charge. You have the big antlers. You're knocking everybody else out of the way.
I mean, I got it from context clues. I was just curious, like what the actual, meaning was.
I think I take it 60% out of 10 different league situations. 6 out of 10 leagues, I'd take the picks because as long as my team isn't terrible, I can still compete. And even if I can't, geez, breaking it down, apples to apples, that's 3 firsts for Mahomes, which is fair. 3 firsts for JT, which is probably one more than I'd be willing to give straight up.
Still what you have to do.
And I get Brandon Cooks for an extra first. That's great. I think the picks win that most of the time. But I do like to play. I like to compete. So if I'm feeling pretty competitive, Waller or Hawkinson? Waller.
Yeah, I think I'm still on the Waller side of that.
I think they're the same at this point. So I guess maybe give me Hopkinson, who's younger.
They're probably valued the same. I think. Well, and again, points wise, ceiling wise, I think I want Waller.
Do you?
I do.
Yeah, if Waller doesn't have that ceiling anymore, then they're both the same thing. But Waller's the one who could have it.
How can he?
How could he not?
With route runner and alpha extraordinaire Hunter Renfrow on that team.
That's the one. That's the one you missed, Peter. You forgot that we gave people Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah, I was thinking I could have made the list bigger, but
I guess that was Team Clemson, big wide receiver. I forget. I'm sorry.
It does count. It does count. Yeah. I guess Hawkinson's mid path. He could be Kelsey. I guess some people could think he'd have that upside, but I don't think so. I think he does.
Either of these guys are going to be finish as
I think Waller's the only one who has been.
The answer is trade both of them for one of the back end tight ends and something because people are gonna value the tight ends more than what they should.
I thought you were going to say Hunter Renfrow. I really did. I thought trade both of them. For reference, here's my current roster. I don't think that affects us too much here, but Lawrence, Lance, Hall, Jake, CH, Lamb, Bateman.
So I would keep the pick. I would keep the picks with this one. With this roster, I would keep the picks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There you go. Paul Cicero, how you doing, buddy? I have Antonio Brown. Bad news, Paul. You don't. No, it doesn't really exist anymore. But okay. Should I hide him on the bottom of my roster? I don't think he's someone you have to stash. If you need to cut down, you can cut Antonio Brown.
I mean, 35 roster spots, though. Whatever.
That's what I mean. I mean, it's fine if you don't have to, but if you're looking to add someone, it's fine. I know 7 firsts is a lot to give up. How else are you going to get JT and Mahomes? Yeah,
but I don't think you need with that team. I don't think JT and Mahomes get you over the hump. I just don't. I don't see that team as being quite where you need to be. But if you add 2 running backs and a quarterback in that draft next year, out of those 6 picks, all of a sudden you're pretty good. And if you add 2 running backs, a quarterback, and a wide receiver, then you're really good.
I'm worried he's too young with too much hope built into this roster, and the players he would be trading for are a little more certain. I'm pretty sure JT is going to be a running back in the top 5, 12 for the next 3 years, and Mahomes is going to be there for 10 years.
Yeah, but that puts you right in the middle of the pack. Again, I'd have to see the rest of this team, but judging by this roster and the 12 team rosters that I've got, that puts you in the middle of the pack. That's not a locked and loaded team.
Yeah.
To me, I'm not.
To your point, I'd be much more tempted to keep some of those picks for safety and add Bateman, add Olave, add Claypool in replacement of some of those picks. But yeah, I think Zach's basically right. How good do you think the Saints' offense will be?
Better than last year.
They got Jarvis Landry. They're fine.
Do they have Michael Thomas? That's honestly my question with the Saints. I will say the Jameis Winston Marcus Callaway is actually the cheapest stack in underdog drafts. Everyone keeps telling me who the cheapest stack is. It's Callaway and Winston. And I love it. But I don't have a lot of hope, to put it honestly. I think it's fine. It's
So-
not going to be Drew Brees era, you know.
So you say that Drew Brees just got replaced on NBC Sports as an analyst, like within the last couple of days.
That's rough.
Okay.
I have been adding Drew Brees to the back.
Is he going back to the
of
NFL?
Superflex rosters? Because
Wow.
you add Drew Brees into a team with Jarvis Landry and Michael Thomas and
That's,
Alvin Kamara,
well,
and that offense actually works.
If that year of rest actually helped him compared to what he was looking like at the end of the season before.
How far down the field does Jarvis Landry go? 5 yards. How far can Drew Brees throw? 5 yards. It's perfect.
Yeah, the thing is, Drew Brees always had a lower ADOT, if I remember right.
Yeah.
He was definitely throwing the ball. But here's the thing. He was still one of the most accurate passes adjusted for ever. So, like, Winston, like, I think Winston could be fun in terms of turning it around. He could eat crab legs and eat W's on the field, and we make so much fun of him. It'd be great. The one thing he's not is the most accurate passer in NFL history at any depth.
Yeah.
And I don't think that offense works with him. I have hope, especially if Michael Thomas comes back, but that's where I'm at. J.K. Dobbins or a single 23 first. Interesting. Russ. Seems like a you question. Since you love J.K. Dobbins and firsts.
I think this is it. I think this is the value. If it's one QB and we're saying completely random, I take J.K. Dobbins without even thinking about it. If it's Superflex, I think about it a little bit more. But I really do like J.K. Dobbins. I've always been a fan of the player. And
he's a great player. Injured or not, he's coming back from an injury, if I remember right, an ACL.
So I'm ready for it. I'm here, and freaking the DLF flagship podcast has been just seeping J.K. Dobbins love into my brain. And it's just grabbing hold and like almost like the shampoo commercials. It's like just pulling, like massaging J.K. Dobbins love into my brain. So in a 1 QB, the answer is very easily J.K. Dobbins for me. If it's Superflex, I think about it a little bit more. So it turns into, do you want to score points? Take J.K. Dobbins. If you don't, try for a first and a second, see what happens, but be willing to take the first.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I just don't think people are going to explain it one way or the other. The offense or Lamar doesn't throw the ball to running backs or some such shit. I've got him right now at like a 6% target share, which is fine. I just think, he's not the running back on that team. As great as a running back as he is, it's Lamar. So I don't think he has the upside. I'm probably just keeping the player unless, like Russ said, if it's a random first, I don't care.
I'm on the other side. I'm going to take the first over Dobbins.
But I think it's fine. And most of the time, I probably value the first. But J.K. Dobbins should be probably a plus on there, like a player who can score points in replacement of J.K. Dobbins.
Are we concerned with how often you see the Ravens signed a running back already in this offseason? No?
I'm still just worried we haven't really seen him run.
Well, that's what I mean. Because they keep signing running backs, and
that's what
Dobbins.
They do. They always will. They need bodies. That doesn't bother me at all. And the fact that they're signing people that I just don't care about, that makes me feel better, honestly.
Seems like isn't that what NFL teams do? They're pretty bored. There's not much going on right now, so they just sign running backs. Like, let's just sign a few. Let's make Twitter go a little nuts. Yeah. And every running back's going to be on the field with every other running back every snap. That's the other thing that goes on. Right? How you doing? Basaltberg? Yeah, we're going with that. 12-team Superflex, 4-point touchdowns. Current QBs, Stafford, Tannehill, Carr. Thoughts on tier up to young elite QBs, if at all possible. If you get good trades, that's always a good move. And Stafford plus a first for Murray, get it done, or leave well enough alone. The reason they're young elite quarterbacks is that they shouldn't get traded for that amount, unfortunately. I don't think there's much misvaluing of them going on right now. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right. But if you can get that done, absolutely.
Dak, maybe.
Yeah.
That can be a little undervalued.
See, I would be
Hurts, maybe.
I would be keeping Stafford. Like, he's of those three, keep the one I hold on to. Like, if you I would move Tannehill and Carr to see if I can, like, find someone who has Kyler and then Sam Darnold. You know, someone who just has like Baker or someone like really weird and like Jameis. No, maybe not Jameis because he's good enough at this point. But like one of those very bottom starting QBs, and see if you could sell them the 2-for-1 and try and get the good quarterback out of it.
I think most of us would go the other way with a Stafford or a Tom Brady for that matter. It's like, yeah, you've got the points, you're good. But if I can get Kirk Cousins, you've got Carr already, so that's off the table. If I can get Kirk Cousins plus a first for Stafford, I go the other way. If not, I'll just take the points from Stafford.
I mean, not often do I tell people not to make a trade, but I think you're just completely fine with Stafford and Carr as your quarterback this year.
Dynasty asshole was telling people not to trade. Just be happy with your roster. That's
the don't trade addicts league.
Do you have to go at some point, by the way, Russ? I know you weren't sure you were going to be able to make it. I forgot to ask. Do you have to leave at some point? Or?
Oh no, I'm good. Next week is when I'm going to be late.
Oh, okay, cool.
It was supposed to be the week before. It was supposed to be the week before, and it's going to be next week now.
I should probably listen more to the things you have to say. Sorry. There Al deal. Someone help me.
God, the real deal.
The real deal. You're good. You're good at this. I like that.
I have a creative writing to read, Peter. If you need help, I got you. I'm very literate.
Finally coming good on the creative writing degree. This was what it was for. 12-team Superflex PPR. Wandale, who's everyone's favorite sleeper but mine, apparently. I just get David Bell blind. I'm sorry. And a 2024 first or DJ Moore. DJ Moore, please.
I think I'll take DJ Moore.
I mean, I'm willing to admit at the point that DJ Moore doesn't have the ceiling that we've always hoped he would be, but that's still a great price for a insanely solid wide receiver too.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I like Wandale before it was cool. Let's just say it. But he's in that range of players that I like. But if I can get like a really great young NFL player currently for them, then I think I'm taking advantage of that other owner's rookie and hype by it. There's a strong maybe about. Like a maybe about in Wandale.
It's like one of those guys that is like cool to have on your team.
Win.
Yeah, and you're happy to have on your team, but it's
for
like
a second round pick.
Oh no, I'll get someone I know is good. That's fine.
Yeah. You just don't question that. I think I think you're telling me more than I'm telling you the real deal. Because I've been wondering, because I'm in a small bubble, how deep is the Wandale Robinson love? And if this is honestly something people are considering, it's too much. I wouldn't do David Bell in this deal, and I like David Bell more than Wandale, for example, a little bit. So,
I like
we're gonna fight about it. Todd, how you doing? Happy birthday! I love what you do. I really appreciate that, Todd. Thank you very much. Unless it's someone else's
his real last name Radmaker? That's pretty awesome. It is
technically Radmaker. It's pretty cool. Joe Herbert says hello, everyone, or hi, everyone.
Hey,
to be
Joe.
Exact. Nice summer haircut, Peter. Yeah, thank you very much. I did cut it off.
I'm offended. How come nobody mentions, nobody's like, hey,
I
Zach,
noticed,
nice
actually.
summer haircut.
I was going to mention that.
I specifically every week cut my hair for the show. And
normally
nobody mentions, I guess it's your birthday. We'll let it slide. But like, man,
what's crazy is he grows an entire like afro in 6 days, and
that's what I was going to say. The rest of the week, it's kind of insane.
Pretty shaggy.
It's crazy. Happy late birthday, Pete. Thank you, Tim. 14-team Superflex start 11, which is actually more interesting than like number of teams start, and also number of roster positions you actually start. If you start 3 wide receivers, it changes a lot.
Yeah.
But anyway, Deshaun Watson or Cousins plus a 23 first or a 23 second.
The Cousins 23 first side. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were going to take in longer on that, so I'm not.
No, that's it. Like, look, anytime where there's a Watson in one of these trades, there's going to have to be a lot of pieces on the Watson side for me to take that Watson. Like, to me, it's a gross lottery ticket. Yeah.
Can I ask how much of it is the personal choice, grossness, have your own fun, you don't have to deal with it if you don't want, and how much is it your risk management, like a cold-hearted reading of the risk?
It's probably like,
just so people know where you're at.
It's probably like 65% that's gross and 35% they could suspend him for 2 seasons and I would not bat an eye. They could suspend him for 6 games and I wouldn't bat an eye. And I don't know where that Roger Goodell, gavel is going to fall. So it is. That's probably like 35% of that is just I don't know how this situation plays out, but it's not going to be good. And the other 65% is I don't want to look at my roster and go, yeah, I have that guy on my team. I don't want to do that. And I understand that if you're playing for big money and that sort of thing, then great. It's hard for me to do.
Yeah, I try and take it from my own team versus what's a rational expectation. Honestly, my rational expectation is increasingly concerned about the risk just because at least the cases are going to run into next year. They're not going to be resolved till next year, no matter what you think the decision might actually be. Yeah. This is going to be conversation for 2 years. It's not like we're going to find 23 is going to happen like, oh, we figured it out. It's going to be another year of this. I would say as far as actual clean advice I can give you for the legal side of things, it's just follow at Drew Davenport FF on Twitter. He's actually on TikTok. I found out recently. That's fun. But he's an old tired dad too, but he's actually a lawyer. He's not in this case, but he gives at least a great legal perspective on this case. And that'd be the only advice I could give you on that side of it. Me just guessing like a moron, like with injuries. Happy birthday, boss man. Appreciate that. Sheesh. Joe Herbert, reading is fundamental. That's true. It's probably why I struggle with the fundamentals. Emma Corpse Oritz murdered that, by the way. How are we feeling about Deshaun Watson? We kind of got ahead of that question. Those are our thoughts on that one. Probably the same place. I would say that the longer this drags on without any kind of clear-cut decision, the more it seems risky. I think the ultimate answer is it's going to be how messy is it from the league. Part of me wants to say if he plays this year, because the cases aren't going to get resolved, there's going to be no court decision until probably 2023. Then a good year could make the NFL. NFL will forgive anything for a good player, unless it's too messy.
Yeah.
Colin Kaepernick was too messy for them. Whether you agree or you don't, that's what went on.
In the last,
so how messy is it for him?
In the last DLF ADP, Watson was going at QB 8. Mm-hmm. I could see taking him around QB 13 or 14, somewhere where like Trey Lance is, because I think you've got a similar upside and a similar possibility that it just becomes nothing. And so that is, if you can stomach everything that goes along with it, that is where my rational brain says Deshaun Watson belongs.
Yeah, I've noticed him starting to fall in underdog ADP even for this year. Like he's available later and later. The other part of it is, and we're getting to the point where it's almost reasonable risk, is I think, he's top 5 QB if he plays. It's not 100%. Like even Aaron Rodgers has been injured for a year and Patrick Mahomes had a down year or two. I mean, he is on the Browns. They are the poster child for down years. I mean, Landry went there and failed. Like that's impossible. So like at some point that becomes relevant too. How much does this affect his ability to perform? I don't know. Rebuilding, Nicholas J. Rebuilding team. I made 2 trades. What do you think? Traded Darren Waller and 223 seconds and a 124 second for Dallas Goedert and a 23 first. Got it. Yeah, I'd take the Goddard side of that.
Yeah, I love that first one for you, Nick.
Yeah. Goddard's actually one of the few players. Why I'm more excited about than Hawkinson is he's in a particular career year where there is often that upside just because of, and he's also actually been in the top 5. But anyway, 2023 first. Then he traded Deontay Johnson for a 23 third and a 23 third, for Burks.
That one I like Johnson. Less. And I
like it.
I like Treylon Burks. I would rather have Deontay Johnson, who is 25 and a top 12 wide receiver. I would.
Yeah.
Value wise, I think it's fine. I mean, I think Deontay Johnson falls in with that tier wide receivers, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the London Burks, Wilson, JMO, that area. So if a third gets you the younger guy that you like, that's cool. But Deontay Johnson has found his way to get targets from very bad quarterbacks and very bad situations. And he could possibly be choosing his team next year. If you are going full rebuild, which, don't get me wrong, I love grabbing Goddard and a first, even in a full rebuild. Yeah, I'm fine with that. But if you're just reloading or retooling, whichever phrase you want to use, I know I say retooling, and I think Zach was using reloading on the last Dummies episode. You stick with Deontay Johnson.
In general, I think my answer is always going to be, if I like both players for their upside similarly, and I do in this case, top 12, easy, I'll take the boat over the maybe a boat if all else is equal. And I think this is kind of exactly that trade. Deontay's great for that, actually. If you're looking for that kind of out to get an older player, I mean, DJ Moore is just an example, but really, he's more of a top 24 player, like Russ said. Deontay's had that top 5 upside in this offense. So I'll give him a slight bump there. And Deontay's a great one because no one really wants to value him like that. He's not AJ Brown, Yeah. But he is kind of in that category. What was I going to ask you guys about? Shoot, I had a good one. I was going to ask you because you were mentioning Green Bay Packers. Who is their wide receiver one for you? You said you didn't like someone, and I was surprised. I don't know what they look like on tape, so I don't know what your opinion is going to be sometimes if we've never talked about it before. Any opinion at all?
I have no idea who the Green Bay Packers wide receiver is. Like, it's probably if Randall Cobb is healthy, it's probably Randall Cobb.
I've been grabbing so much Romeo Doubs.
People are forgetting that he's still there. And Sammy Watkins, it's like, I don't know, but I mean,
so if you looked at last year, so a lot of what Aaron Rodgers does in terms of fantasy scoring is touchdowns, and that was last year. Yeah. So Tunyon is a great one, but last year Devontae Adams had 11 targets inside the 20, had 7 touchdowns. The second most targets in Green Bay, or no, maybe it was he had 14. Sorry, it was 14 targets because Randall Cobb had 11 inside the 20. And then the third was like a mishmash of Lazard and Aaron Jones, like whichever one of them had 5 and one of them had 4. But people are underestimating the fact that Aaron Rodgers likes guys to get open quickly, especially in the red zone, which is why Devontae Adams was so great. Because he ran that little slant route, which is really quick.
So good at that.
It was also why Debo is really fun because Debo had that same little slant route out of South Carolina.
They did try and trade for him,
but I like, again, Randall Cobb as a really late, low price player. Tunyon as an option at tight end.
I think Tunyon's a value I really like. Because
like Russ said. Romeo Doubs is going in the 4th or 5th round of rookie drafts. I don't see why there is that much difference between Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs this year. And if Romeo Doubs gets on the field and produces, then all of a sudden he is the wide receiver to own in Green Bay. And I'm not saying that like he definitely is the wide receiver, but for a 4th round rookie pick, I'll take a swing on him being the wide receiver, especially since Mike, who is the other half of the Dynasty Dummies and really, really sharp when it comes to watching film, liked Romeo Doubs a lot.
I have to take a closer look at him. I have to say, I don't think I like him, but I'll check.
No, it's not even necessarily about him. Like they already came out and said like Watson was a pick for the future.
Yeah,
it's just like, oh, so he's not doing well now.
Yeah, that's a backpedal.
That's what that means.
Jordan Love is a pick for the future.
So
that's kind of
doesn't
like
have to be great. He just needs to be better than everyone else on the field. And if Watson isn't there yet, it might not be that hard.
What was the guy in San Francisco? Paris.
No, he was in Indy. You're talking Paris Campbell.
No.
Well,
yeah, there was that guy, but then there was a guy that was just about to be fully motivated.
Yeah. No, Ayuk was the one that they were trying to motivate, but then
no.
Were you talking
Ayuk
2 years ago? Yes.
Yeah.
That was Jake's guy.
Yeah, that's the kind of compliment we always used to hear about him. Like, he's going to be our future. He's just got to get acclimatized to the offense. And if you're hearing that in the offseason, like, that's what I always think of. I can't apparently remember his name. Jake liked him. I remember, right? Did he get that one right or wrong?
No, you got that one wrong hard.
Yeah, I got that one wrong. Yeah. Which side would you prefer? The 108, the 405, or the 210, 303, and the 23 second?
Which is the Superflex startup?
This is 108, right?
Yeah, it's the 108.
First. I mean, you should take that 23 seconds shouldn't be there, and then that trade is probably fine. But I'll keep my 108.
Yeah, I mean, you'd end up
or
with
trade for the 108 if
so. Yeah, I mean,
you need the 23 second in there. It's not worth doing for either side.
So the side with the 210 is going to end up with, well, I guess we don't know how many. So the 103. So you end up with the 103 and the 108. I'd much rather have the 103 and the 108 and the 405 than it.
So pick 8. We're talking Jamar Chase. And what's the 405? 3 is 36. Plus 5 is 41. And Derrick Henry. Or pick 20 is Trevor Lawrence. 24, 27. And Aaron Rodgers. And a 23 second. Chase and Henry or Rodgers, Lawrence, and a 23 second.
I mean, I'd still rather have the 108 and the 105. Yeah, I would. I mean, I know you're giving context to that, but like, you don't necessarily get the two. You know what I mean? Like,
I know. I
could take a quarterback at the 108, or I've taken a quarterback at the 103, so it doesn't matter. And so I start off with like Kyler Murray and Chase, and then I'm really happy. Like, I want the more picks I can have in the early in the draft, I'm going to be happy with.
See, I'm with you, man. I've been trading up in every single startup I've done in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
Trading up, we've been saying trade down for so long. I think trading up can honestly be easier.
Well, everyone has it drilled into their head to trade down that you usually get decent prices trading up because everyone just wants to trade back. And there's everything with trading and the crap I say always comes down to if your league is active enough.
Yeah.
Because what I will do is, instead of doing the sandwich deal like these, I'll trade up for the 108, give a couple of picks, but get a 7th or an 8th round. Change the trade a little bit. And then every other round, I'll start trading back up. I'll trade a 3rd and a 4th for a 2nd and a 6th, so I keep getting 2 picks per round in the later, so I could keep using multiple picks to trade back up.
And what I do is I identify a glut of players that I like in an area. So if it may be the 5th round this year. So I may love the 5th round. And so I don't mind trading back from the 3rd to the 5th.
If you get plenty of them, yeah.
And if I can move up into the 1st and trade back from the 3rd into the 5th into that area where there are a bunch of players that I like, I'm happy because there's not a big, that's what I try to do is identify a range of where there are 10 or 12 players that I really like, and so it doesn't matter to me that I trade back into that because I'm getting players that I want. So. That's kind of how I approach it. And again, that sometimes backfires because you don't know how a draft is going to fall, but you you have a pretty good idea, especially when there's a big range of players. So
especially the closer you get. Gideos asks, can we not give Watson any more airtime?
Absolutely.
We can try.
I
also
absolutely.
Don't think
I mean, we're here for the cast. So if they bring him up, we'll talk about him, but I'm fine never talking about him again.
Yep. Pittman versus ETN. ETN. There we go. Sorry, I just happened to read the end of that 3 times in a row emphatically. I take ETN here. It's a gamble, but I think it's worth it. 10 team. He did say it's 10 teams, start 10. I don't think that changes it. No, probably
well, it means you want
ETN.
The better player.
Sheesh. Trading for Watson right now is tough scenes for sure. Sean, rebuild traded Dynasty for London. Thoughts?
Dalvin.
That's
We'll
rough.
trade Dalvin for London. Thoughts?
I feel like you could get more for Dalvin. No,
Look at it this. I know we don't like.
Maybe in
London.
season once
we
he starts
hate him.
points.
Obviously.
Right now, you can't. It's annoying as hell, but you can't.
Who's like Dalvin? I think London has a bigger value bump range of outcomes. All he has to do is get 600 yards, catch a touchdown, have a good stretch, and suddenly he's worth multiple firsts. With Dalvin, he's worth more to some teams in season while he's scoring points, and he's probably more likely to do that. So I don't hate it, but yeah, I'm probably on the Dalvin side. Yeah.
But I like the second part of that where he says I have 723 firsts and not much
you're
else.
good. I mean, just have fun.
You're gonna rebuild. You'll be all right. But
this
and I get
fun anyway. It's fun.
I get not wanting Dalvin for the season if you've got 7 firsts and you're trying to have one of them be the 101. But you can always trade him in season.
Decrease my draft pick. I think my hair was changing my sound level because you all sound weird to me right now. I'm just gonna say that I miss it.
Like weird good or weird bad?
Bad. You all sound like distant and echoey. I don't know. Pato, 10-team Superflex. Cousins, Madison, 209, and a 23-second. Wow, for Tannehill, Hollywood, Pollard, and the 203.
So Cousins and a second for Tannehill and Hollywood.
Yeah,
and the 203
Pollard
203 could be Bell in a 10 team.
Yeah, 10.
I really like the Hollywood side, but I want Cousins. It's conflicting.
I don't feel good with Tannehill anymore.
So do that. Get the Tannehill side, and then turn around and trade Tannehill and something to get Derek Carr. And then
if
you Tannehill for Mac Jones, everyone hates him.
That's the right move to me.
Yeah,
because I like getting Hollywood. Yeah. Madison is a shrug. I'd much rather have the 203 than the 209, and Pollard and the 23-second are probably a push. So it's a matter of what can you do if your league is active enough that you can trade Tannehill for someone.
Turn around and trade Tannehill, then do that. Yep. Kareem Hunt or Marcus Brown? Marcus Brown. It's definitely getting closer to the
really
season,
easily.
Yeah. If people are valuing running backs like that again. What's Traylon Burks' projected target share? What's my projection of his target share? That's a fair question, I guess.
AJ Brown.
I was going to say, this one is on you because none of us do, or neither of us do projections.
Oh, I could make stuff up real easy, though. I mean, he's getting AJ Brown's vacated targets.
He's going to... He's going to end up with a 19.5% target share.
That's
got him like
that's what mine says.
Target share per game. It's too high.
That's what?
On a per game basis, is at 27%. Yeah, it's too high. We're too high on the rookies this year in general. He's ranked as season long 29th overall. If he were to get hit that with average production from a first round pick, he would have to have a 27% target share in that offense, and it's too high. A reasonable projection would probably put him 20% or below, but it's a shortened season. He'll play well for the end of the season, not the start of the season. That's a typical rookie.
Did I just hear 19.5%? That's what I heard.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, okay. That'd be fine. Please don't do that to Chris Olave. What did we do to Chris Olave?
I think I brought Drew Brees back.
Oh, he can make Chris Olave, right? He's fine.
Olave's good, Pete. Olave's
I know. He's pretty good. I like him. I've got him above Wilson, which means that I'm owned all the time for being wrong on both in different directions. So
I do like the landing spot better for Olave, but whatever.
Whatever. What's it, boys? I don't know why I said it that way. 201 for Pollard and Amon-Ra. I want Amon-Ra side, like, real easy.
Yeah,
in fact,
by
they can
himself.
keep Pollard. Like, I'd give him back Pollard. I'd be like, here's Pollard. Just don't want. That's fine.
See,
Just
I think it was the
back.
capital B that made you emphasize that. I think that's what it was.
Probably what it was. Joe Herbert, cheapest stack. Darnold and Terrence Marshall. Yeah, that's not actually a stack, though, is it? That's like 2 players who aren't going to play this year, so it doesn't count.
But he's right. They're cheaper.
I mean, the XFL's coming back.
He is right. What is Rachaad White ceiling this season? Oh, great. Anyone got a strong opinion? I think he has the same outcome as like a lot of running backs in this class. Like, he can be a top 15 guy. I'm trying to remember what I thought of him, to be honest. I liked him more than Cook for an all-purpose running back standpoint.
But I still don't think he's going to do much this season. Unless...
Not in Tampa Bay with Leonard Fournette. That'd have to be
they'd have to be probably multiple injuries in front of him for him to get the run that you're.
I think that's his question, though. If Fournette gets injured, what does White do? Is he a top 12 running back like Fournette? I think he's more top 15.
I mean, he's not
my best
Fournette. I think it would be silly to just put him in with Fournette's production.
Yeah, exactly.
He feels so much like Kerryon Johnson to me, and I know but like
that's the thing, though. That's where he landed, like running back 15 to running back 13. That was Kerryon Johnson. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel about White's ceiling. I like him a lot for where they get him in rookie drafts and stuff. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Jesse, 12-team Superflex, half-point PPR, he's in the middle of a retooling. Mike Evans or a 24 first. That's too much for
Mike Evans.
Mike Evans has got to be cheap, and I want him, and I'd take him in this deal. But I don't think you have to give up first for him, right?
Yeah, you
can
do.
find
I don't think you're getting
second
him for a second.
You don't?
No.
That's probably true.
If I were trading Mike Evans, I would want to go and see if I could get if I were trading Mike Evans. So I'm assuming that Jesse is, because he's retooling, he's trying to trade Mike Evans. I would be trying to get a 23.
Yeah,
if I had to put something with it,
that's what I was about to say. Yeah.
Fine.
I'd be willing to do that. I'd be willing to add.
But I'd rather do that than get a 24 first straight up, if that makes sense. Like, and again, I know that the 24 class is probably fine, but it's 2 years out, so you're waiting 2 years to get any return on that Mike Evans trade.
I'm looking up trades. Mike Evans and Thielen, that doesn't count. Mike Evans and a third for Ronald Jones, Garrett Wilson, and a second. That doesn't feel like first round price.
I mean, Garrett Wilson's a first rounder.
Technically. Yeah.
I mean, technically, he is.
No, you're right. Mike Evans for Wilson and a 23 first. That's something that happened back in on the third. So, yeah, you can get a 23 first from him.
But again, like I said, if I have to add a little bit of something to Mike Evans,
and you'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
And this trade is less than both of those. So, yeah, it's Mike Evans strongly. Jefferson and CMC for Breeze, Olave, and 223 firsts. How's your team look? Is that Justin Jefferson?
Yeah, it must be.
Gotta be. It's not Jamar, is it? No. Just give me
Jefferson and CMC.
A CMC, whatever.
Yeah, because that's basically 2 firsts for Jefferson.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, Breece Hall is not nothing.
No, but you got CMC on the other side.
Yes.
It's
Tim Shady.
It's close. I still think I want Jefferson.
Apparently, Treylon Burks had an asthma attack, which makes it a great buy window. I had not heard, actually. Hope he's okay. Similar to Jamar Chase, can't catch preseason. Yeah, anything that pretty much hits a news cycle right now is a version of that. But I hadn't even heard, so I don't know.
I didn't hear that either.
If it gains steam, maybe. Brown over Hunt. Easy peasy, ya lemon squeezy.
Yeah, absolutely. Giddy up.
Giddy up.
10-team Superflex. Lance Tuas. CMC. ETN. Horn. Elijah Moore. Rachaad Bateman. Ayuk Pitts. You're showing off at this point.
I thought this was a trade. I'm like, oh my God.
Just to find out. He wants to know what he's doing with his team.
Oh, okay.
Try and win this year. I hope Lance is a starter, which he's looking more and more like it's probably a starter.
Yeah.
In a 10-team league, assuming you're starting 9 or 10 players, I don't think you're a heavy contender, but you probably will be with those players like next year.
If CMC is healthy, you're a contender. So that probably
contender, yes, but like a heavy one.
So that probably puts you in a shopping window, though. See what you can get for CMC. That's the question. If you can get Gibson, or who else do people hate now, or Derrick Henry, or one of these older running backs with really decent ceiling plus a first, I think it's CMC sell window. But I'm not desperate to sell CMC on this team. I think he makes you competitive. Am I too far off?
No.
Russ hates CMC.
No,
he does hate CMC.
But now I feel bad. I don't hate anybody. That's a lie. It's just the fact that it's a 10-team leagues. Like, you need studs if you're only starting 9 or 10. But it's worth a shot.
To me, the receivers are what's light, though. I mean, I think CMC and Breece Hall is a pretty good running back core.
Yeah,
and if Lance starts and does Lance things with his legs, that's a pretty good quarterback situation.
That's what I mean, though. Like, the reason he'll be competitive is his running backs, and if Lance starts, that's a top 5 team.
Yeah, so maybe it is.
But that makes you weak. It makes you prone to.
So maybe it is go shop CMC and see if you can get.
That's what I mean. It's only based on what you get, and also it's not Breece Hall. It's ETN. Oh no, he does say F Hill. I missed that.
But if you talk to Addison Hayes, he's calling ETN next year top 5 running back.
Oh, he's now saying that, is he? Oh wow, he caught up real quick, didn't he?
He was barely a top 5 running back in his class, Russ.
I didn't say I was saying that.
I know. Those numbers, guys.
Idiots. Thoughts on Hollywood Brown this year? As last year and the year before, he is a strongly undervalued top 24 wide receiver. You should probably just add to your dynasty roster.
Damian Harrison at 23 second.
Yes,
yeah, absolutely. Do that.
That's exactly why and how.
Yep.
He's not going to suddenly become a top 12 wide receiver because Kyler and the college connection. He's going to keep being good, okay? And that value's great. Ask yourself, would it be a good deal for DJ Moore? And if the answer is yes, then it's a good deal for Marcus Brown. 10-team 1 QB. Receive Gibson for Pittman or Eckler for a second and for Higgins. I want the Gibson side and I want the Higgins side, right?
I don't want the Gibson side over Pittman, and I don't want the Eckler side over Higgins. I don't want either. I want
the Higgins. Yeah,
I love Eckler, but I mean that's Pittman and Higgins for me.
Yeah, I'm willing to back down off my Gibson take there too. I feel like Gibson's a little undervalued, but Pittman's fine there. Steal for Hollywood there.
Yeah.
Yeesh. And I'm just trying noises out, see which one catches on. Zach Harris, 12-team Dynasty Superflex, stock 2 tight end premium, kind of. 1.5 PPR league. How do you feel about Elijah Moore or Albert O for Komet and Bateman? I want the Komet and Bateman side pretty strongly.
Me too. And then leave that league because you shouldn't be playing in 2 tight end leagues.
It's mostly the Bateman side, though, isn't it? Isn't it basically Bateman that you're looking at?
I think Komet is like... I'd rather have Komet than Albert O straight up, but they're pretty close. Very close, actually, but Komet is less known, less talked about a little bit.
He had like 90 targets last season.
I know. It's kind of crazy. He has higher production than Albert O, but Albert O is the one that got all the wind in his sails for the career year he's entering. It's the same career year. So, yeah, it should be Komet over Albert O, but I don't feel like it is for everyone. So yeah, it's just a Bateman side, but I wanted to point that bit out. Giddy up, Dobbins or Monty scoring more points in the next 2 years? Dobbins. Very, very.
I think that's pretty close. I think Montgomery outscores him this year and probably doesn't next year. And Dobbins is kind of like even. I think it's pretty close.
Yeah, probably.
I might change my opinion based on that. That's a stronger opinion. I like that.
Well,
also, I like opinions where there's value to adopting them. Like if you like Monty more than Dobbins right now, you can do a lot with that. And if you're right, you make a lot of headway in Dynasty. So I'm happy just to flip that straight up. Better stash of these running backs: Kylan Hill, Keen,
Hill.
Jarrett
maybe McKinnon, but it's probably Hill for me.
Jet baby.
Hill. Yeah, it's Hill. That's it's kind of
give me Jet McKinnon all day, baby.
You're gonna
get
the
that uncomfortable part about
one
underrated
quarter
players.
but you're gonna have to figure out what quarter it is in what game.
It's that Dynasty gets a real hard rap for just liking younger players, but if you want upside, it's younger players. It's not just they're gonna play longer. Fifth, sixth, seventh year, these things happen. Hunter Renfrow happens, but there's less upside in them typically. On average, at least, strongly, like 20% of upside players come from without having previously good production. Like very few. So there's less upside, and they happen less rarely. So honestly, even though it's just a Dynasty trope at this point, if you're looking for upside, you just take the younger player.
Value-wise.
Outside of individual context that adjusts that for you. I traded Deshaun Watson, Njoku, 23 third for Garrett Wilson and a 23 first the morning before the New York Times story broke. Did you have an in? Do you know someone at the paper? Or just lucky, I'm guessing. Jerry, 12-team Superflex. Nick Chubb or Christian Kirk and Antonio Gibson and Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson is starting to become underrated, Well, he is. I've just realized that he's underrated. It's probably the better way of putting it.
I still think it's the Chubb side for me, but I'm
having a hard time with this.
You really hate Gibson. That's what I'm getting from this.
No, but I
screw Gibson.
I think that what everybody hopes his upside is not actually what his upside is.
Oh, definitely not now.
But it never has been. Everyone's like, Antonio Gibson is going to be DeAndre Swift plus, and he just isn't. Like J.D. McKissick has been the target there, and they just drafted Brian Robinson, who again is not the greatest player ever, but he's a really solid running back. Like I just think that there is less ceiling for Antonio Gibson than people think, and Nick Chubb is going to do Nick Chubb things again. And I guess Allen Robinson, Christian Kirk, I'd probably rather have Allen Robinson, but it's not by as much as I'd rather have Chubb over Gibson.
I think Gibson is probably in a range where you'd be happier with him, to be honest. That's why he keeps standing out to me. Like that upside is not being built into Gibson anymore. And also maybe choose someone different than Swift, because I feel like Gibson's been better than Swift. But that's probably just because I'm lower on Swift than most. But I get your point. And Nick Chubb's just great. Just take Nick Chubb, probably the answer. I think Greg Bay is going run heavy. Just get A.J. Dillon and be happy. I don't mind A.J. Dillon as value or Aaron Jones. I prefer Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I was about to say I'd be happy with either of them, but give me Jones over Dillon.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a little much to hope that like the lowest passing year they've had with Rodgers is like 32 pass attempts per game. And while they're clearly not building for him at this point, I think he runs the offense. I think I think a reasonable expectation is they're going to pass more than 30 times a game. Probably to Aaron Jones, I guess. Or apparently Romeo Dubs.
I
want to say Dubs.
I mean, we could talk about Romeo Cornell if you want to for a little bit.
Silence of the Lambs got it. Dante Pettis. Because I looked that up too. But he was right. That's the San Francisco that
about to become fully motivated. Just a couple more years away.
That's it.
Thank you very much. that's how far behind we are. That's good. No, Kevin. Percentage of Watson playing, as we said. I deleted the goal dueling stats for $1 to follow you 3. This better be worth it. Does anyone know the girl dueling stats?
Squats.
Doing squats, Peter.
Oh, he's moved on from a good-looking girl doing something on the internet. Took less. I'm pretty sure we disappointed, but I appreciate you trying. Thanks very much. Giddy up. I think Vikes are going to smash the pack face off. Vikings fan, maybe. Just throwing that out there.
Giddy up.
Go Cousins. Jason Gray, 12-team Superflex. QBs are Hurts, Russ, Wentz.
Should.
I think
12-team Superflex QBs are Hurts.
Okay,
yeah.
You should. Whatever it is, you should.
You should, yes.
We will. He's down here. Here we go. 12-team Superflex, Hurts, Russ, Wentz. Should. I stand pat and hope Hurts and Russ hit. Hurts and Russ are going to be just fine.
Yes. Do not use a first to change this QB situation.
I mean, maybe trade Wentz, but probably not. A third's not nice to have. Joe McCarter. I traded Watson for a 123 first. Yeah. Kind of been kicking myself lately. No, I think right now it's probably fine. It's fine. 12-team Superflex PPR. Tony or Jacoby and Damon Williams. Oh my God. I love Jacoby.
I want Myers and Damian Williams in this one.
Damian Williams is fine. I do think Tony's the one with the upside, though.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Damian Williams is in Atlanta, and Darrell Williams is in
Arizona. I thought he went over there to, yeah.
If that's, man, I still think I just sit with Tony. I think it's,
yeah.
You're never going to want to start Jacoby, and even if you do end up starting Damian Williams this year, it's not going to be what Cordarrelle Patterson was. And don't forget, Cordarrelle Patterson is still there. But at least with Tony, you get a young wide receiver who, when he has been on the field getting targets, looks freaking electric. Yes, I'm worried that he can't catch more than 6 balls without hurting himself, but I'll take that side.
You can't have Wan'Dale Robinson and Tony.
I know.
You can't.
I know. I don't know.
I really think Tony has upside.
Really threw me for a loop.
Let me be really clear on this one. If Tony has any sniff of that upside, I'm trading him. And so hard. But he really does have a unique potential. Younger player, wide receiver, actually perform well on a per attempt basis. So it's probably Tony.
Wait. Yeah. Now you're going per attempt. Now you're going per game. Because we went.
I'm not. That's the thing.
DeAndre Swift was way better. He was 3.5 points per game better than Antonio Gibson. And you're like, Antonio Gibson's way better than Swift. But now we're going points per touch.
Yep. That's why I don't like Tony. Yeah. That's why I'd trade him. But the per touch basis of either of these other two players versus Tony's per touch, we could do that one if you want. Evening all, I think small sample trap, but that's the thing. He's exciting enough. One thing would set people off, I think, in some leagues. 16-team PPR Superflex. 2023 first, second, third. 24 first, second, and third. Or Tannehill, AJ Dillon, and Juju.
Picks.
Yeah.
I get that it's 16 team and you're getting a quarterback, a running back that you'll start, and we love Juju, but
yes, we do.
Just think you could do better.
I know there has to be some estimation of those picks. So, if you can get a quarterback in either of those first round picks, but if it's pick 16, you're not getting it.
I'm not even talking about using them to draft. I just think in a trade you could do better.
Yeah, you probably could. 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. Yeah.
We keep going, using Carr and Tannehill in the same sentence together. Even if that was just switch to Carr over Tannehill, I'd feel better about it. I don't have any good feelings about Tannehill anymore.
No, it's more Carr, Cousins, and Tannehill's a lower tier. He's going to start this year, and he's probably out, like Darnold, like Wentz. 12-team Superflex PPR, 2-point tight end premium? Rashad Bateman, Irv Smith, Damian Harris, or a late 23 first, Wandale Robinson and Khalil Herbert. Again, I like some of these players. It just seems like their value's a little hopeful. I think I just want Bateman here, but the first is tempting, but Bateman. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Irv Smith doesn't move the needle much at all, even in a 2-point premium for me.
No.
Wandale and Khalil Herbert don't move the needle very much. So I think
I like them. But
you're getting Bateman and a starting running back for this year, like a running back 2 for this year for a 23 first. I think I'd do that. Especially if you think it's late. I mean, I know it's hard to predict from here that's late, but
I would say if Bateman's not your target here, like you really want Wandale, you really wanted Irv Smith or whatever for some reason, that 23 first does open up the trading potential of most players. So if you're not a really big fan of Bateman, you can try it with Smith. You can try it with Elijah Moore. It's going to be a different trade, but that first opens up the books on trying to get that trade. But if you like Bateman, and I do, I think he's fine. Good. Then I would do this trade. Yeah. TJ Banks, 12-team Superflex PPR. Which side do you prefer? Amon-Ra, that side. Oh, wait, it's Spiller and Sutton.
No,
Amon-Ra and Spiller or Sutton.
Or Sutton.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I don't think the Spiller does much for this. For me, you know what I mean? Like it's fine, but that's not.
What's the difference? Is there a difference between?
You gotta make me say Sutton, and I hate it.
Is there a value difference between Amon-Ra and Sutton right now?
I gotta look it up, but I think probably
I'm just asking your personal opinion, not like
what
DLF says.
They're in the same tier, but I think I'm higher on both than probably the average. If you know what I mean.
I think Amon-Ra has to do less to increase his value than Sutton does.
Which is wild because Sutton had such a good, but it was a couple of years ago.
It was his rookie year.
Yeah.
And I love Sutton, but I think he put his team and his injuries put him behind an 8 ball that's going to be very hard to work his way around.
Yeah, but the reason we expect Sutton to bounce back is he's just got Russell Wilson and Amon-Ra.
I don't
gotten that quarterback yet.
But I don't think anything that Detroit did this offseason has hurt Amon-Ra St. Brown.
No.
To me, they added field stretchers both in Chark and in Jameson Williams. They didn't add anything that is going to necessarily take targets away. The targets that he's earned. They didn't add anything. Man,
it's tough. It's tough for me. It's in a tier, and I don't mind Spiller as an add-on.
If we're thinking about it this much,
then whichever one you like. But
Amon-Ra.
There you go.
Yeah, it's probably that side. You buy back a couple of years and keep the value and still have the potential to have the points. So,
hey, Big John. Tub knows. Do we really think his performance has been because of his? I haven't even thought about that.
I think it's because of Drew Lock, who
Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater.
That's been my assumption. Yeah.
He has been throwing to Seattle for the last 2 years while he was in Denver.
He could reach.
Yeah,
that's why they
got canon, which is French for the canon.
This guy's always thrown to us. Cody, 10-team 1 QB PPR. I just traded David Bell and a 24 second for a 24 first. Feel good about it. Yeah, I think that's solid, but I like Bell.
Yeah, I mean that's you got good value on that trade, but
2 seconds for a first.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Recovering Ridley Truther. Yo, guys, what are your thoughts about Hawkinson this year in a very high tight end premium? We've talked about Hawkinson a few times. I think he's good. I think he's fine. I think he's young. I have yet to see him have Kelsey upside. Let's just describe it
He
that
needs
way.
to
It used to
do
be
it, I think,
Gronk upside.
now.
I know that's the thing. He's still within the range, but I think I would have expected something by now. Yeah.
He's a top 8 tight end with,
which means nothing.
But I mean, it means a little bit because he's one of those guys who's going to see around 100 targets.
Yeah.
So in a big tight end premium league, that's better than having somebody who's not seeing that, and he's got potential to be even a little bit better than that. So I like having him rostered in a high tight end premium league. Now, if I'm counting on him to be a difference maker, like like what we've seen out of Kelsey, or like what we've seen out of Waller and Kittle and Andrews, and what we're hoping to see out of Pitts, I think you might be a little out of luck. But he's definitely in that next group of guys that I'm interested in.
Okay, I'm using an off source for this, but about 56% of top 5 breakouts for tight ends have happened by year 4, which is where Hawkinson's at. Most have had, top 12 season by then as well, like over 50-60% of them. I'm doing this breakout thing, so I actually have a lot of that kind of numbers up. Yeah, that's I just think Hawkinson's a top 12 guy. He's good. That's it. Watson just went on the trade block today, and every trade block apparently. Hopefully, we covered some of the value we may not be willing to spend on him. But there you are. Richard Kane, Breece Hall, or Jerry Jeudy, and a 23 first and second. He's rebuilding too. The wide receiver and the picks. Yeah.
The 23 first.
Yep. For sure. I came to wish Peter a happy birthday, but I didn't recognize the clean cut guy Zach and Russ are talking to. That's because Pete left. It's just me now. Hello,
we got this new guy. He's way better than
Bob.
Pete.
Hello, Bob. Nice to meet you for the first time. FF, thank you, Rag. Appreciate that, I guess. Want Watson off my team in a 1 QB league? Yeah. Any future second?
Yes,
absolutely, future second, because you can get
if you just want him off
good quarterback in a 1 quarterback league for a second. Do that
in a 1 quarterback league. Top 5 QB shouldn't really be that worried about. You can just get rid of them. Buck, how do you value start 3 wide receivers versus start 2? It makes it more premium position than running back. Instead of it being more equal and the back and forth with high T and low T people happen. If you're starting 3 wide receivers, for example, 0 running back makes a lot more freaking sense. It makes sense in start 2 as well, but with start 3, that's where the edge strongly starts, because you can actually be beating your other team at 3 separate positions. And running back, where there's only 12, actually around 8 and have difference making potential, they can only really fight back realistically with 1 other spot at running back. So yeah, it's just a stronger preference towards wide receivers. That's it. You lean more 0 running back in him. He's actually started about literal draft strategies. That feels best ball like, though.
Flex. It might not. It might just be a draft.
Yeah, it might be. But yeah, that's why John Bosch talks about tight ends. If you ever listen to the Dynasty Tradecast or the Dynasty Wall Street, both good podcasts. Like, tight end can't be premium unless it's made a more important position, unless you're starting 2. It's how you elevate the position. It's like why Superflex does it for quarterbacks. Good evening, fellas. 12-team Superflex. Give 109, get Elijah Moore. Thanks. Yeah, I'd do that. Pretty easy.
It's there. Yeah, it's fine.
Lance Mercer. 12-team Superflex. Trade Barkley, Palmer. Who's... Again, talking about... Receive Ayuk, Dillon, and a first. I'm the only guy left who I think who likes Ayuk at all, apparently. Which is weird, since I was a Debo guy last year. Probably
That's
Barkley.
Value for Saquon, and I want to keep Saquon.
Yeah.
But I think I do that.
Isn't that Josh Palmer that you were talking about all last week? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Carson's coming back?
I would take Ayuk, Dillon in the first.
Yeah, and we just did a DLF trade show. Today's Wednesday, right? Yeah, where we called Saquon Barkley a buy, but that's a really good price.
Yes, sir. pick trade cut from here. Who are you? Are you from the website, Ridley? You're trying to get the work done. Like the website and answer their little question. Michael Carter, Cleo Herbert, Madison. Madison? Keep Herbert, trade Carter?
I guess so. I think you're best off trading Madison, most likely to the Dalvin Cook owner. That's probably the most value trade-wise you'll get out of these three.
No. You need to trade Michael Carter specifically to Russ.
Yeah, okay.
That will get you your most value.
He wins. Yeah, and I guess maybe you want to keep Madison in case Cook gets hurt, though. After, I don't know, man. This is weird. Stop making me think about these players.
Damn it, Ridley Truther. No, yeah, that's my answer. Jason Gray, 12-team Superflex, rebuilding. Quarterbacks are Fields and Cousins. Nice, refreshing change. I appreciate it. 2023, I have 4 firsts. Everyone in this chat has at least 4 firsts in 2023. It's like we've been talking about them a lot. And 6 seconds. Should I be patient and make these picks next year? Don't plan necessarily to make them, but I would be patient on them. Yeah. Or use 1 or 2 to tear up at QB. I would be tempted with Fields. Is that the only way of doing it, though?
So don't tear up at quarterback yet for 2 reasons. Because 1, those picks will gain value the closer we get to 2023. And 2, if one of those is your picks and your team is bad, that's okay. Your pick gets better. So there's actually addition by subtraction there. So if you end up making that tier up, like you said, to a better quarterback, do that after this season if you're in a rebuild. If that's what you're doing, don't do that now. There's no need to do it now. You're going to have better assets to trade, plus your first will get better.
What if Fields plus a first gets you Lance? That seems like really reasonable value right now, and people are a little...
Isn't there just as much risk with Lance as there is with Fields?
Nah, I'm a little more worried about Fields, but maybe that's me.
Well, you don't have to worry that Fields is going to be the starter.
That's true. All right.
You do have to worry that they added Willis Jones as the savior of Justin Fields.
That's not great.
That is worrisome.
How do you feel about Swift? I'm starting to feel like he's overvalued. I think for I was highest on him at the start of the offseason, and now I'm getting told this is why I lose because I'm below average on him. So, make up your own mind. I think people are going a little nuts on it. I'm starting to feel like he's overvalued. He's a good fantasy back, not a running back too kind of good. I think we know what Swift is by this point. I think most of the people think he's undervalued. Think it's because opportunity shares increased drastically after year 2 for running backs, and that's just Derrick Henry, man. That's just running backs who don't earn their work share by now. This was a Gibson signal from last year. We know roughly what they're going to get. I don't think there's a lot more upside. I think he's really good. I think the difference-making running backs you're looking for are either the older guys right now, Barkley, CMC, or they're going to be drafted pretty soon. I think people want to see that in Swift, and I don't think it's there. Everyone's just let me say it.
No. I think you're pretty spot on, Peter. I think he's. There's a lot.
If you get a value, is great.
There's a lot more. There's a lot more hope with Swift than there is production, and I think that's where we're at. And so those are candidates for me to trade away and get people who I think are more production than hope, plus a piece that I can hope on.
Sounds good. One more for you. ETN or Gibbs? ETN, straight up. I think, honestly, Gibson's probably got a better floor because ETN still has to play in the league, and you can flame out when that happens. But I think ETN's value and points are probably have higher upsides, and
it won't take much for ETN to maintain value this season. I think as long as he's okay, he won't fall. Because anyone who's a believer will be like, well, it takes time to come off of a broken foot, which I completely agree with. So Gibson needs to do great to keep his value. It's just going to keep going down at this point.
And pretty much do what he's done. It'll be good.
Yeah, and look, ETN's value is going to keep going up headed toward the season. Like we saw the first video, Peter. I tweeted,
and immediately, like everyone that gets paid was like, "Oh, ETN's being slept on." It's like, now, okay,
that's what I'm saying. It was Mel Gibson and Braveheart, where you've got the cavalry charging at you, and he's going, hold. Now, and they pick up the pikes, and that's where we're at. We're at the point where we're picking up the pikes because we've been holding, and the value is just going to crescendo now.
Yes, sir. Buck. Cool name, I've decided. Non-tight end premium. Thank the Lord, finally. A non-tight end premium question. Schultz and a 2025 second for Tyrion Pearson at 25. I just take the first, I guess. Out.
Yeah, it's the first.
Schultz is fine, but
I don't want anything there except for the first.
Can we trade 2025 picks in the Trade Addicts League yet? Because that sounds fun. Like I've never seen picks that far out rostered. That's not an MFL roster, I don't think. Dustin Lyons.
You can, but I just don't do it.
You better hope that 2025 first doesn't fail his chemistry test coming up this week. Might not be. He might not end up at Ohio State.
He'll be drafting, some bust. Where are we? Total Superflex, start 2 quarterback, PPR startup draft. Okay. One word at a time, Pete. You can do that. He's in a win now. He wants to give the 101 and Baker and a 2022 204 and get Lawrence Etienne
and the 212. That's the next.
212. Yeah.
12 team start 2. That's rough.
24 right off the top, right there.
So yes, I give up Brees, Baker, the 204 to get Trevor Lawrence, ETN, and
the 212. Yeah. Yep.
That's true in Superflex too. That's what I was just thinking on. I think
the not Baker side.
The not Baker side, please, Dustin. Also, very cool screen name. I like that. Chris, 12 team 1 QB. So my top wide receivers are Chase, Cup, Hill, Hollywood. Sure. My top team already, but the other dig zoner. But
the dig zoner offered me him.
I don't know why I found the word other somehow in there, but yeah, the dig zoner already offered him to me for Hill and a first 111, 112. Is it worth downgrade? Hill to Diggs, how much of a downgrade?
Well, he's upgrading Hill and a first for Diggs.
Right, upgrading 2 Diggs is what
I don't think that's.
That's not an upgrade. It's a sideways.
Right.
And you're paying a first to.
Yeah.
Sideways.
I don't know.
I mean, 2 is a concern. Don't get me wrong. 2 is a concern, but I think that's sideways. Yes, we love Tua. I'm just saying things to say things, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think I would give up Hill in my first to get Diggs as much as
it's a real late. I'm assuming 2022 first, so it's not a hell of a price, but probably not.
No, but it could be Bell, Peter. It could be David Bell.
It could be a Bell.
It could be Pickett. Honestly,
it should be Pickett. 12 team Superflex. I'm reloading. Good word. Just traded Mixon for a 23 first and Mooney.
Yes, I love it.
Hate it. Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. I really like that. I think Mooney is underrated, and the 23 first is great for Mixon. So,
Jason, you did this. That's what you did.
Peter, that just reminded my youngest is 6 and he's playing t-ball now, and he the other day, Saturday, came up, he got his first hit and he runs the first and he gets on first base, he looks over and he does it. He's like, yeah, buddy.
The way.
I'm like, if only you'd gotten Mooney in a 23 first instead of a base hit, that would. But
you did okay. Peter hey, glad I caught this live. I am too, buddy. Thanks very much. Happy birthday, Peter. Hope you had a great day. Can the Burks news drop him to me at the 6? I mean, honestly, anyone can fall to 8 in this year's rookie draft.
Yeah, I've seen Burks fall to like 6 or 7 in a regular draft a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, why are you doing leagues without me?
Yeah.
Same question.
Yeah.
What?
I said, why are you doing leagues without me? If there's no way Burks falls to the 6 with me in that league.
Because you said no when I asked you to join the Trade Addicts League?
That's not true. I've never said no to a Trade Addicts League. I said no to
didn't ask me.
A different league.
You're in a Trade Addicts League, Peter.
I never said no to a Trade
I can
Addicts
do
league.
two. I can do two things. Sometimes. John's starting a new league. Looks like the Pigs Leagues, which were a big thing, are ending. And so he's starting another nightmarish setup. It's just in case anyone wants to go tear your hair out for a few years. They're fun.
That's my fault, everybody. Yeah. I'm sort of
What is that name?
Three.
I'm trying to figure
it's from this
Saturday
Night Live Celebrity Jeopardy skit.
Really?
Yeah, with I think it's Jimmy Fallon playing French Stewart.
Okay, I'll look that up. Thank you. Is there a best time of year to try to trade for quarterback and Superflex? I have Rodgers and I'm needing to transition. You don't actually need to transition, but what I would say is it's a good idea to frame your year as in there are good times to do certain type of things. What I would not do is think that it's very specific. And you really just got to watch value trends, and it's really dependent on your league. Like I could tell you a time in the middle of the off season, it's best to trade for quarterbacks, but everyone in your league's too busy like playing in the pool that month, and it doesn't mean any difference. So it's best just to watch ADP or follow the Dynasty Grind because we tell you all the truth. Not really, but and just kind of gauge when the news stories have affected or the concern over age has affected people too much.
It will never get old that Zach drinks out of mason jars. A clear liquid out of mason jars.
It's all I've got, Russ.
Having said that, if I was to pick a time of year, it's right as the season ends all the way up to the draft, probably.
But it's like you treat it the same way you do anything else. Older players are better to trade for when the season's about to start. You know, it's easier to trade for older players when the points matter. Younger players, it's harder to get them when the points aren't being scored.
It's weird though with running backs because that's what I did with my running backs ranks and why I was getting owned online today. It's like I bumped all the young players up strongly in my ranks and got told I was too high on them and I was just a dynasty nerd. And then throughout the offseason, I started raising the older guys like a little earlier, and now I'm too high on the older guys, and I found actually pretty good value doing it that way. Like
I would be honored if Rich would take me on as a dynasty nerd. Just saying.
1353912. That's what I have to say to that, Mr. Russ.
I want to be famous.
Want to be famous? Buy followers, primes, and viewers on mountviewers.com. I just gave him a free promo just to get out of talking about that with you. You realize that? Gavin Grant.
You've done worse things than that talking with me. It's fine.
Also, never do this. This is a terrible place. I've never been there. I'm just going to say that. Gavin Grant, are you all on the Pittman hype train? I've traded him away in 2 leagues.
I didn't know there was is there a Pittman hype train?
A little bit.
Not right now.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's kind of just good value. Good.
Well, I think people weren't super sold last year.
I do think
there wasn't Peter too much.
I think he's probably more undervalued than overvalued.
But I mean, like he's a top 24 wide receiver.
Yeah.
Like, fine. Like in that 16 to 24 range.
And I'm desperate for Brown and Bateman and their top 24 wide receivers. So Pittman has a lot less hype than those guys, to be fair. So yeah. And as far as trading him away, it's for what? Like, he's fine to trade away. If you're getting that value, it's fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you need to be getting top 24 wide receiver value for him now.
Oh, absolutely. Joe,
lurking
by surprise.
She says lurking.
She's been lurking the whole time. I knew it. I didn't know it. I didn't know it at all. Just watching. No questions. No interactions.
Well, you ruined
that. Always watching. Just Joe.
Do you guys handcuff your running backs if competing or nah? It's not a target of mine. That's my general line. Like, I'm not trying to do it. If it happens in a trade, that's great too. John Ho makes a fairly good point in that if you're competing and you're in your last few weeks and you can't get anyone off the waiver wire and trades have been canceled, you'll be grateful to have your handcuff running back. And that's not too untrue. In general, it's better to try and roster someone else's quote-unquote handcuff. And so, yeah.
And not only that, rostering someone else's handcuff, but roster the better. There are some pretty obvious better running backs that are handcuffs.
Those are handcuffs are created equal. Yeah,
I believe it was the fantasy football players who coined the term handcuff. And
they did? Huh.
Yeah, and so that's what you're looking for.
I thought it would have been like the police or something.
Different handcuffs.
Oh,
yeah,
my bad.
Also different handcuffs, but
what rookies are we most excited about this year? No.
Outside the 8 to 10 guy, David Bell. The answer is David
Bell.
Bell.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Justin Ross,
absolutely. Yep.
I really feel like people are looking at rookies at last year and wondering, man, was that impressive? And I think that's probably the best you can hope for from most rookies this year. Like, if I get a Rashad Bateman season out of David Bell, I will be so ecstatic. Like, that's a great season. That's an amazing season. But this year, it's off season. We're being asked, was Bateman disappointing? It's like, no, that's not disappointing. You didn't live through the Kevin White years, did you? Clearly. That's disappointing. And when most rookies look like Terrence Marshall, that's disappointing. And
I will say I've ended up with an awful lot of Tyquan Thornton in the late second, early third, and been pretty happy about it.
Question, you got a good point. David Bell. I'm really excited. Honestly, excited to add Trey McBride to my rosters at his current value. I'm really liking that value this year. Justin Ross, Keontae Ingram.
Yep.
Let's say it. I'm missing out on players though. I'm missing out on Spiller. I'm missing out on White. I wrote this up for my Patreons because they're like players that I like, but just where they fall, I'm trading up or down, and I'm just not falling to where they're at. I'm ending up with a lot more Jalen Tolbert than Wando Robinson, for example. I don't like it, but it just tends to be the way my drafts are going. So I have to make a conscious effort to change it, or that's where I'm at.
Yeah, see, this is why you do the buy on credit and trade into exactly the spot that you want and get that player. That's right. Like that's how I operate my drafts, especially after the first round.
I do try, but I only have so much capital and then get all queasy about spending money. I'm not much of a gambler. I get into the David Bell. That's what I use to get into the David Bell spot. And I don't have much else to trade to move around with. But I get your point. Yeah, that is what a better trader would do. Traded the 103 for Carr on my Superflex.
Absolutely. Do it. Good. Fine.
Okay. Took me a second because I forgot it was 2022 for a second. But yeah, that's good. Next rookie draft. Bring your hard hat with all these falling values. But Joe, Russ and Peter are Geminis. That's not untrue.
3 out of the 4 members
of my household. What does it mean?
Not many people know we're actually twins, so it fits in many ways.
There is one person that has said that you and I are the same person, just with an accent change. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice of them from my perspective. You must hate them.
Makes me feel smart.
No, I'm still. Who's Jeff Bell a dead ringer for? I'm pretty sure Jeff Bell is someone. 2 people. I can't remember who the other one is. I'm gonna remember it. You, that's it. I want to be a trade addict league. How do you get in a trade addict league, Russ?
If
And you should want that, Lefty. They're awesome.
Well, I'm not starting another one, at least, hopefully ever, but definitely not this season. But if there's ever openings, I tweet them out, and then I take names for a couple of days, and then I just use a randomizer. It's always random whoever gets in. So just keep your eyes on Twitter, I guess, for me saying there's an opening. Usually before the season starts, 1 or 2 people just decide it's too much for them and they drop out. So in a month or two, check Twitter.
Thanks, Joe. Mr. Mole, I have 623 firsts.
What is it with these people?
Apparently. I've got like 1, and I have to fight to keep it as well because Russ and Cow keep trying to trade me for it. And I'm like, no, go away. If I listen to them, I'll do it, and I'm not doing it. Has the hype on this class reached its peak? Honestly, it's not. That's the crazy thing. It's probably got a little more room to go. It's kind of crazy. There he is. First round pick stealer. My spreadsheet tells me it's Peter Howard's birthday. That's true. You freaking nerd. Joe, you need a sponsor to join a trade X Lefty. I got told to send him money. I don't know what that was about. I thought it was bribery is apparently possible. I'm just going to throw that out. Fantasy condo.
Can I cut more than 2?
Can I cut a lot more than 2?
Oh my!
I'll cut the first 2 straight off.
Actually, no, I'm hanging on to Geno Smith because he could actually play in Seattle this year.
And he didn't do super trash when he played.
Fine.
We're definitely cutting P. Ryan, right?
Dude, third and 1 in the Super Bowl. They're rushing Najee P. Ryan. I want him on my team.
Getting rid of P. Ryan. Probably Jacoby too. Just dust that guy off as well. Yeah.
I mean, why not cut the tight end? I'd rather cut a tight end than I would a quarterback.
Really?
10-team Superflex. I don't know if I care about Jacoby Brissett ever starting.
No, but you only have to cut 2.
Or Geno.
Well, I think we can agree Chandler's gone, right?
You see, if I'm starting Geno or Jacoby Brissett, I probably care more that my team's worse and my pick is better. Just throwing that out. No. I thought I'd find a way through.
So we're cutting everybody but Shakir and Rondell Moore and Myers. Is that what we're doing?
I'm good with that.
Oh, as well. Honestly, if I just needed to get under a roster limit, that's the way I'd do it. The order in which I would do it, I probably lean towards keeping the quarterbacks. If you only have to cut 2, Geno and Jacoby get saved, so you cut Ty and you cut Samaje.
Yep.
Follow up on the handcuff question. With Barkley rostering Breida, with CMC rostering Foreman. I don't know. It's Chuba Hubbard, right? Chuba Hubbard?
Yeah, I'd rather have Hubbard than Foreman.
Yeah.
Chuba.
I was giggling at Chuba.
And this is the thing. The only handcuff available is Benny Snell.
No.
Okay.
No.
Other people are rostering your handcuffs. It's what they should do. And you don't have to go out your way to do it.
I would not go get Benny Snell, though.
No.
Unless J. Mike would.
Maybe.
They might list everybody, though.
And Kentucky guys.
Would you guys trade Garrett Wilson and Jahan Dotson to move up to Metcalf? Yes.
DK? Yes.
Yeah. Even with the bad QB play, yeah.
Here you go. Someone else read one.
Josh Elliker, 14-team Superflex. Now we're giving DK Metcalf. Get a 23 first, 23 second, and Velus Jones. No.
No, I want a little bit more than that. Not Velus Jones. Russ, what are you looking at?
I'll be right back. Someone's awake and moving, and I don't know who it is.
Someone has awakened.
Well, I don't want it to be one of my children.
I'd rather it be one of my children upstairs when you think about it.
That's a fair point.
Oh, he can still hear me. That's nice. Joe, someone on Twitter, I'm assuming, is saying 2023 will be RB apocalypse. He ran the data and is looking at 8 teams with a open top RB spot and an additional 8 with a spot if they make a veteran RB cut. Yeah, I don't think we're quite due for the running back draft class to come in yet, but it's not like these things walk in straight lines, so it could well be. I think we've got a couple more years of some of these veterans still being relevant, just based on the trend of the last series, the last progression of great running backs as they went through the NFL. They played and were relevant in the top 12 for another 3 years from this point. So, CMC, Barkley, that group should still hang around a little bit. I actually did a whole thing on this. You guys aren't going to be able to see this. You can't even hear me? That's not a very nice thing to say. Yeah, I did this whole tweet where I actually patterned out where top 12 running backs came by career year. So you can see the NFL, you can see classes entering the league and how they were dominant inside the top 12 all the way up until like their 8th career year, and the 2017 class, which was the next big class, is like going into their 6th career year. So, based on the last spike we saw in running back and where running backs came from, got a couple more years left. I thought it was an interesting way of looking at it instead of age or career year. Having said that, 2023 is probably going to bring a few of those running backs that replace the others. Like I was saying when we talked Swift. I'm just kind of vamping. We don't have many questions left. We are not that far behind tonight, fellas.
Not going to lie, I will go to sleep if we don't get more questions.
What a threat. Daniel Meyer came here after seeing your tweet. Give 101. Oh, appreciate that, Daniel. I don't know which one, though. Receive Saquon. Pull the trigger. 102 in a rookie draft for Saquon? Yes.
Yes.
Right?
I would give up the 102 for Saquon.
Yep.
Saquon's like the running back buy right now. Whoa, it's Peter's, but it's actually my birthday yesterday, but appreciate that. Yes, today was my birthday. I get 2. Yeah, that's the thing. What's this one? 12 team Superflex tight end premium. I'm in a mini rebuild. I like the idea. What is good trade value for Kelsey? Probably not as good as his points, right?
That's a good deal.
Should I trade Kelsey for Fairmouth, a 23 second and a 24 first? Yes.
Yeah, that's actually good value for Kelsey right now.
Quietly, Fairmouth actually has as good of a shot, just career arc and percentage wise as hitting the top 5 this year as Kyle Pitts. Quietly a pretty decent upside bet for tight end right now. Boo! Happy belated birthday. I appreciate that, Daniel. Thank you very much. Yeah, I sent out a tweet calling people cowards, asking us to ask this question, which usually works, but I usually send it out before we run out because we never run out. So I don't know. You guys got anything you want to talk about, or are we having an early night tonight?
That's wild, Peter.
I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, I got to wake up at 5 o'clock, so I don't hate,
Yeah, I was just saying, I'm okay with it, but it's wild.
I mean,
I'm
we're in the doldrums. I'm not going to blame us too bad, although it is all our fault and we should feel bad about ourselves. But
I will absolutely cry myself to sleep tonight.
Tears of absolute failure. Yeah. But yeah, I think we're part way between the draft and the season at this point. And people are like, I would want to see my kids just for a couple weeks before we get to the actual season. Right? With all the news just being that horrible.
Oh. Yeah.
You got a few of those.
I have a couple. Yeah, well, and it's also it's also probably like headed toward redraft season too. So
yeah, we're waiting to see them. I'm really interested when the redrafters come in. They have some useful insights on what we've all gotten too up in our feels about. It's pretty interesting. Tyler Boyd production this year. See, like that. That's such a redraft question. Dynasty players asking that question.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. It's not worth anything in Dynasty, which makes him interesting actually, because he can have top 36 upside. Thanks, guys. No problem, Adam. Silence Alarm. Great night, guys. Thanks for the answers. Thank you, Silence. He's giving us permission to leave. That's what I feel like that is. Is something happening somewhere else and we're not invited? Probably, man. You're not looking at the insider group here. We're not invited to many of the after parties.
It's the Celtics. It's the Celtics. Whoever they're playing.
Thanks, Adam.
Other
maybe there's other sports. Never heard that. It's early June. We get it, guys. We still appreciate it. Great content. Thank you, Brandon. It's kind of it's not really content at this point. It's just us chatting. Like, it's not like we do a show or we're all up and we have our energies high. We just talk. I like it. But, yeah. Great show as always. Take it easy. Thanks, man. Oh, no one here comes.
Oh no, here somebody said, "What's the trade value of Dalvin Cook with Alexander Mattison?" And I think it's about the same as
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook without Alexander Mattison. unless you value walking around going Alexander Mattison.
Not many people know this, but you can do that whether you roster him or you don't.
Sing? No, you can't. No way. No chance.
You should try it. I'm telling you.
I can't help. I already roster him, so I will have Alexander Mattison on my rosters until he is no longer on MFL, just because that was the Jake Anderson chauvinist. That was the take. It was Alexander Mattison. I will roster Alexander Mattison until he falls off the table.
The one time I was ever proud to be blocked by someone. Not by Jake, but...
I don't remember that. And was this like a high T take that Alexander Mattison was great?
No, he said, "You've been listening to Peter's former boss, haven't you?" ? And that was the tweet. Chauvinist.
Oh, okay. What are you guys trying to get for Watson within the last 24 hours, realistically, on a 1 year out hopeful contender? Or are you holding 12-team Superflex full PPR? This has been the question all night, man. You can literally just rewind it. In a Superflex, try and get a first if you just want out. But if you just want out, you can take whatever you can get. But right now, you can at least expect a 23 first, I think, and there's some decent quarterbacks in that class. I think the best answers we've seen is bundling them up to try and get better quarterback.
Yeah, I think that's what I would do is add Watson to something to try to get a different quarterback.
Don't necessarily have to add Godwin and Kittle and a first, but yeah, something like that. Yeah, he's in a category we can't really trade him down because people are too, people don't want the risk, and I can't blame them. So you can't be like trade him for Tua plus or Kirk Cousins plus or Carr plus, because it doesn't work with that kind of risk. I think that's less likely. So instead, just try and package him with something and get rid of the risk for a similarly upside quarterback. Or just trade him for a first. Russ tells me all firsts are good, though. I assume they're good.
I don't say anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
Look over there, Peter.